Hey guys, what's going on? This is Sergeant Merrill, and welcome to another episode of Sergeant's Time, where I'll be hitting up your questions and, for better or worse, giving you my advice. Hey guys, what's going on? What the fuck? I'm playing Battlefield 3? I told you guys, you have not seen the last of this game on my channel. You know, I was looking back to my channel. I have 144 videos on Battlefield 3. Make this 145, and it's not going to be the last one. I have a lot of hardcore Battlefield fans that are upset right now that Black Ops 2 is a little bit of a focus on my channel right now, with all the weapons and perks and attachments and just kind of digging into the game a little bit. But there's no reason to be upset about that, because I'm still going to be doing Battlefield on this channel. And once Battlefield 4 comes out, which is not too long ahead, guys, we're going to be on the other side of the coin, and I'm going to have those hardcore Call of Duty fans that are upset, and I'm going to have to deal with that. Guys, I'm a lover of all games, and I don't think I'm the only one. You know, I like to think that my videos don't really matter what game I'm playing. It's all about digging into the game and finding out something new about how they portray different things. It's what I enjoy doing on this channel. So I hope you Battlefield fans stick with me, even if you don't like Call of Duty, because once Battlefield 4 comes out, I'm sure you're going to be very pleased with what you see on this channel. Now, in this gameplay, I'm using some of my favorite weapons right now. I talked about yesterday how one of my favorite manufacturers was Heckler & Koch. And I want to say this weapon is probably one of the biggest reasons. The HK416 is a great weapon, very versatile. A lot of military organizations using it are using it. It's actually the weapon that killed Osama bin Laden, so it's got to have your respect for at least that fact. And I'm actually using iron sights on it, because I really enjoy the iron sights in this weapon. You know, I'm one of those people who believes that if the iron sights are good, you know, I don't feel like I need to put any type of sight on it. You know, I really enjoy the peripherals that come with the iron sights, and it helps me become a little bit more of a twitch shooter. You know, it helps me play faster for some reason. And I think a lot of people would agree with me. Now, I'm also reinforcing it with the 1911, just because, man, it's American classic, and it should be definitely in service for a lot more military organizations, as a lot of people would argue. Now, if y'all are new to Sergeant's Time, it's just my time on the internet to let you guys know how I feel about certain things, and to also give you guys advice on some of the questions that you may have. So to get involved in this thing, all you have to do is just, you know, put your question or your thought process in the comment section. It's meant to be very much involved with my subscribers. I read every single comment, and it's a lot of fun for me. The last video was about women in the military and taking showers and some people's problems with that. And I enjoyed a lot of y'all's responses. And based off of some of your responses, I'm going to use that for today's video. Now, there were over 500 responses on the last video, so that's a lot to sort through. So what I kind of do is just skim through it and pick out some of the questions that I like the most. And if I see a question that's upvoted really high, I'll tend to gravitate toward that question, because I know it's something that a lot of people want answered. So if you see a question that's already in the comment section that, you know, would be your question for me, go ahead and upvote that instead of putting it in a new comment, because chances are I'll get to it a lot easier than I would if, you know, 10 people put the same question in. So for this video, y'all got some really good questions, and I'm going to start with probably the hardest one. This was by Rolo C4, and he said, "How would you feel if your kid's enlisted?" And this is a difficult question for me, because I think I would have answered it radically different 5 years ago when I didn't have kids. Now it's like I hear this question, and there's this part of me on the inside that's like, no. You don't want your kids to join the military, because there's always that risk that they're going to be in a gunfight, that they're going to be in a bad situation, that they'll get hit with an IED or something. And that's like the worst nightmare for a parent, is for something to happen to your child, especially when it's outside of your control. So yeah, it scares me. The idea of my kids joining the military frightens me a little bit. But I'm also a military supporter. I mean, God knows I wouldn't be where I am today without the military. I would literally not exist if it wasn't for the Army. My parents met in the Army. And I don't think my children would exist if it wasn't for the military, because I certainly wouldn't be here in Texas. I'd probably still be in Virginia, where I was raised. And I wouldn't have had the opportunity to meet my wife at that bar so many years ago. So that's a difficult question to answer, and I think the best way I can answer it is to say that I would not feel great about it, but what I'm going to do is allow my kids every opportunity so they don't have to join the military. And if they do, it's going to be because it is their decision and they truly want to serve their country, and you can't argue with that. There's no arguing with that. The best I can do is give my kids all the information in the world, tell them multiple different experiences and my experience with the military, and give them every opportunity so that they don't have to. And if it happens anyway, well, then a part of me is going to be kind of proud of them, because that means they're a true volunteer. They are doing it of their own free will, and that's what our military is all about. But moving on to our next question, someone else, this is also a military question, and the questions don't need to specifically revolve around the military for sergeant's time. This is just advice on anything having to do with life. But this person wants to know what the financial aspects and benefits of the military are. And this is a question that I actually do get quite a bit. A lot of people have misconceptions when it comes to getting paid in the military. Some people think we don't hardly get paid at all. And that's not true. In fact, I think you get paid quite a good amount, especially, when you're 18. And one of the greatest things when you first join the military is you don't need to worry about anything. No matter what, no matter how much debt you're in, you will always be fed, you will always be clothed, you will always be sheltered in the military, no matter how much debt you're in. Now, you can get in trouble in the military if you get into too much debt. It's one of your own personal responsibilities. But you do get paid a good amount, in my opinion. And there is a clear way forward to get paid more. The higher rank you get, the more you get paid, and the longer you've been in the military, the more you get paid. And it's kind of a combination of the two. So I think as an E5, which is a sergeant with 5 years in the military, I think I was getting paid. Oh, and there's also other considerations to how much you get paid. Whether you live off base, whether you're actually I can't remember, what is it called, separate rations or something like that. If you're not eating at the chow hall, and you have a reason that you can't eat at the chow hall, you get paid more. So with me as an E5 living off base, I think I was making somewhere around $1,500 every 2 weeks, which is pretty damn good, considering that I was only 23 at the time. And like I said, you will always be clothed, you will always be sheltered, and you will always be fed. Now, that means early on, things are great. But later on in your military career, depending on what your job is, your pay probably isn't going to add up to what you could be earning in the civilian world. And that's what frustrates a lot of people. So let's say you get trained as a software engineer in the military. That's an MOS, pretty good MOS. And when you're 18, getting paid whatever they pay you seems pretty good. But by the time you're in your late 20s, and let's say you're still in the military 10 years later, you could probably be earning six figures in the civilian world, and you're certainly not going to be earning that in the military. So that's where a lot of people get frustrated about military pay, is that it doesn't add up to civilian pay. But, that's just the government for you. They can only pay you so much, and they're the ones that trained you to begin with. So it's a trade-off. Now, my final question, I'm only going to spend a little bit of time on, because it was actually something I touched on in my 30K Q&A, which I highly recommend you guys check that out. If you like this type of video where I'm answering questions, I go through a bunch in the 30K Q&A, and it was a two-part series. Now, this guy asks, I'm gay, but I want to help my country. What's the whole deal with don't ask, don't tell, and will I be allowed in the military? Guys, that's a thing of the past. Obama got rid of don't ask, don't tell, so it is perfectly fine for you to be gay and be in the military. And you know what? When I was in the military, it wasn't a big deal then, too. There were multiple people that I served with that I absolutely knew was gay, and I knew everybody around me knew they were gay. I can remember one person in particular that was, it was just so dreadfully obvious that he was gay, but he was a fucking awesome soldier. He would get shit done, and when it came to being in a battle, that's someone who I would want by my side, because I know he was a good soldier, and I know he had his head in the right place. He just so happened to be gay. And the only time that I really saw commands using the fact that you were gay as a reason to kick you out as if you were a douchebag and they wanted you out anyway. So you had those soldiers that were just soup fucking sandwiches, and they really didn't deserve to be in the military because they were lazy or weren't getting stuff done. They were getting into trouble. The command would use the fact that they were gay as a reason to easily kick them out. It's like a clear-cut way to kick somebody out. If you're gay, we don't need to discuss what you did wrong. You're just gay, we can kick you out. But again, that's no longer an issue because Don't Ask, Don't Tell is gone. You can be homosexual and be in the military now. It's something I agree with that Obama did, so you're good to go, man. Don't worry about it. Now, as far as displaying your homosexuality, that's going to be up to you, but I'm just going to go ahead and let you know that there are a lot of homophobes in the military, so you might just want to keep it to yourself. I'm not saying that you need to hide it, but I'm just saying, be careful who you flaunt it around because you might want to avoid some of the issues with some of the older guys in the military. They might still have an issue with it. But that's all I have for this video, guys. If you guys want, you can leave a question in the comment section. If you see a question that is already in the comment section that you would really like to see answered, be sure to upvote it so I can see it. But that's all I have for this video. Until the next Sergeant's Time, this is Sergeant Merrill out here.